They had nice speeches. Okay. Kuf Nun Gimel Sif Yud. Lo Yistakam Shum Makam Meguf Mimakam Shadarch L'Chasas. A man. We're talking about Hilchas Nida here and Hilchas Harchakas. How you have to distance during Nida time. So he's not allowed to look at any part of her body, but Makam Shadarch L'Chasas if it's the regular way that she covers it. So that's a big tumult. So most folks can learn that it means the way she dresses in the street. She has to dress like that at home too when she's in either. Moshe Feinstein says no, the way she normally walks around the house, then the husband's allowed to see her. So let's say she walks with her hair uncovered around the house, and he could see her hair uncovered. Let's say she walks around with short sleeves and all that. That's a little bit more debatable, but some say that's what Ramosha means too. But places that are revealed, let's say hands, arms, etc. That's alpha pisha who nena. Even if he is nena from the looks of his wife, still it's a he's not allowed to smell the psamim that are specific for her, but also meaning even if they're not on her. But also he's not allowed to hear her singing. It's also interesting because in the Paiskim and Shulchan Aruch it says tzarichin on whether singing kol isha by ishtay nida is a problem. Yud Aleph, it's the proper thing that she should have special nida clothing. So that they always remember she's a nida. We don't do this nowadays. So because she and with great difficulty they allowed her to put on makeup and these type of things. The big day tzivana with colored clothing. He made nidusa during mentioned the nida. Ella, but the reason why they allowed it is Kadesh Tiskan al Baila said she shouldn't be disgusting to her husband. She should not pour him a cup of wine in front of him, or to bring it to him, to put it right in front of him on the table. Some say that if there's other people there, then she can. And she should not make his bed in front of him. So that's really like turn down service in a hotel. It doesn't mean to make the bed in the morning to make the room neat. That's really okay. But not in front of her, everything is mutter. She also, so even though he knows that she made the beds and she poured him wine, etc. She's not allowed to pour water for him to wash his hands, feet, and face. Even cold water. But again, if it's not in front of him, that it's fine. Some say for a mitzvah, it's also okay. Meaning water to wash in the morning or to wash with bread. Or by the Seder. The same way she can't pour him, he can't pour her. Even if he wants to send her a kais that's specifically for her, even if it's a kais shel bracha, also it is also. If he's a chayla and he has nobody to help him except for her, she is allowed to help him out as long as it's through something else, right? Meaning using gloves or something like that. And that's even to stand him up and to lay him down and to support him. She can't wash his face. And making the bed. Those are not really allowed. If the woman's sick, also see the other way. It's meaning when the man is sick, so we're not so chayshid. The man's the initiator. If he's sick, so we're assuming he's not gonna misbehave. But if it's the opposite and the woman is sick, we're afraid the man is gonna misbehave. So then the husband can't help her, even without touching her. Unless it's a real desperate situation, you can't find anybody to help her out. This is very common when a woman is in labor and she's already in need and she needs some help. From a Baal who Roife, and let's say the husband is a doctor, there's nobody else on his level. He can feel her pulse. Since it's not done with Taiba and Chiba, which is sort of the same heter. You have any doctor to touch a woman. You need to keep our even during the 7 clean days. The Hainu we made Sfiras Shiva Nakim, that by counting Shiva Nakim, Gam Acharkach, Im Nes Achra, Milutval Bismana. And even after that, if she pushed off from being toivel in the proper time. Asurum B'chol Niskar Ad Lachar Titval, that's a mistake people make. They think like, oh, she's already done with her bleeding and she's already done with the 7 clean days. So then I can touch her. No, you can't. She's just as much in need as anything else. Says Zayin, Isha Nida Riyasa Kaidim Yemei Livuna, a woman who's in Nida. And it's before her 7 clean days. The minig is that she does not go to shul. And she doesn't daven either. Well, there are many that disagree with this. All right. That women do go to shul and they go and they daven. Now, it could be also we have much better protection than they had back then. This is also a thing that a woman doesn't go into a cemetery when she has a period. Yeah. B'yom Naraim, Dainu Rishon Deslichas Ulalon, from the first day of Slichas and further, Sharab Misasrim Vesakneses, that many gather in shul. V'yila Itzavan Gadol Loiselech, it's going to be very depressing. She doesn't go Muteras Leleches. Ulospal, she can go down there. V'chein Kishim Messiah. Espino, Espido, if she's marrying off her children, Oikishihi Yeledes, or she just had a baby, Shegias Mana. It's her time to go to the shul because they used to have a minute to go to the shul. And similar things, Muteras, she is Mutter. Okay, Kufnun Dalid, the harder, this stuff gets into calculations of the cycles. So say the Kriyas Havest, V'din B'digel Fnei Tasha Shalachat Tasha Shavoy Zayin Seifim. Meaning this is how you calculate a woman's cycles and see if she, to know when to separate in anticipation of her getting a period. It says, "Kol vest nikva b'shloisha pamim ritzufim." You make a set cycle where if a woman sees 3 times in a row, shim rasa gimel pamim ritzufim. If she sees 3 times in a row, 3 months in a row, bisman shava kapam b'pam, with an exact equal amount of time, azay zman zehu lo leves kavua. That's called the ves kavua, which is a chazaka, and that's the day she has to separate. Yesh nashim shein covers vest and b'yom shavim b'chodesh. Some do it in the equal day of the month, meaning let's say it's Yud of every month of the Hebrew month. When she Gimel Pa'amim Ritzufim, she sees 3 months in a row. Kol Pam B'Rosh Chodesh, every time in Rosh Chodesh. Rabbi Lo Ves Kavua B'Rosh Chodesh. Then she has a set cycle, and she has to separate on Rosh Chodesh. V'chein Rasa Gimel Pam B'Chamisha Yom B'Chodesh. And let's say she sees 3 times on the 5th day of the month. Azay Yom Chamisha B'Chodesh Hu Yom Ves Kavua Shalom. That's a Ves Kavua. That's called a vest of days. A specific day in the month. Even though the amount of days are not equal. Why? Because some months have 29, some have 30. Since she sees on that specific day of the month, that is a ves kavua. That is one of the more fascinating halachas you get, because bottom line is the reason why you separate on these particular days is because we're assuming that the size of the moon is what's causing her to get her period, which the size of the moon on is the same every month on that Hebrew day. At least that's officially what it is. Like so tonight is Chav Gimel, so the moon tonight is the same size, and that can cause a woman to get a period as will be next month on Chav Gimel. The moon is the same size. However, we know from the Mailid that they announce in Shul that is not true, because they had to make Rosh Chodesh a set amount of time. They couldn't say that Rosh Chodesh is every 29 and a half days. So 6 months is 30 and 6 months is 29 and a half, which means that you're like 12 hours off potentially from the Hebrew day of the month. Meaning we're saying today is Chav Gimel, but it could very well be that the moon tonight is really Chav Beis size. But yet we still go with the way the Chachamim said it. And that's because basically we're saying the Chachamim control nature. That's what the Yerushalmi says, the Chachamim control nature. If the Chachamim said tonight is Chav Gimel, then tonight is Chav Gimel, even though maybe the size of the moon would be like Chav Beis and a half. And that's what they know from the famous story with the girl who was less than 3 years old who got raped. And we know the basulim, if the basulim gets broken less than 3, it grows back. So she got raped in Adar, in Nisan, I'm sorry, or whatever, right at the end of Adar. And she would not have had her basulim grow back, so the Chacham decided to make a leap year, and like this, she was still less than 3 years old, and then her basulim grew back. So basically, the Chachamim can control nature. That is the way we paskin. And on that note, everybody should have a fine night. Shirei b'sudas tovos.